Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome back to Canard Boulevard. This is a little bit different video. This is a video about the sorry state of aviation journalism, how it became that way, and how it's being saved. Coming up. AvWeb. Everyone knows AvWeb. It's been around for absolutely forever. I actually subscribed to AvWeb in 1995, so I have been around for a while in this space of aviation journalism. I subscribed to periodicals before that. Remember US Aviator, of course, AOPA Pilot, EAA, Sport Pilot, Flying Magazine. I mean, all these magazines I subscribed to, and many of them I still do. A company called Belvoir started buying up several of these aviation magazines and streamlined their production. So some of the people involved in one magazine were perhaps also doing work on other magazines, which is fine because it's all about aviation, and they're pooling their resources and creating things more efficiently. And in a world where print periodicals were kind of going away, streamlining financially is a requirement. So that was fine. However, a new company called Firecrown, owned by one person, has bought all those assets from Belvoir, along with many other aviation publications, both print and online. Firecrown now owns AvWeb, Flying, Aviation Consumer, Plane and Pilot, Kitplanes, IFR, Aviation Safety, AvBuyer, and those are the ones that I just know about. There may be even more. So it's good and not good. Good because now we have this pool of resources that can produce all of these publications. However, not good because we have one company in charge of pretty much all of the aviation journalism. We're starting to see duplicate articles appear on multiple different outlets and more. Worse. If you have a look at Firecrown's site, it becomes pretty clear what Firecrown is all about, and is not about aviation. This is directly from the Firecrown website. Firecrown, the category king in affluent enthusiast media and commerce. Firecrown reigns supreme as the category king in affluent enthusiast community, setting the standard for how luxury hobbies and lifestyles are enhanced through an innovative content-to-commerce model. Firecrown is a company that has bought up these aviation outlets with the sole purpose of monetizing them, because he figures people that have airplanes have money, therefore we're gonna ram advertising down their throat and we're gonna sell things and make heaps of cash. Or at least that's the idea. And that's exactly what's been happening. But in order to maximize profits, we have to minimize expenses. So what has Firecrown been doing? Well, they shut down Aviation Consumer altogether. Russ Niles, who has been with AvWeb for decades, they just fired him. Just out of the blue after Oshkosh. They said they couldn't afford him anymore. And most importantly, if you notice recently, all of the Firecrown publications, especially the online ones, the content is AI generated. Yes, there are some people involved, but Firecrown is actually advertising that, hey, our authors are using AI to generate the content that we are using to extract the maximum revenue from our subscribers. You've started noticing your daily newsletter from Flying has at least one article that is nothing except affiliate ads. For instance, the greatest flight bags available for pilots. And if you look, it's not a comparison. It's not a review. It's just literally just a link of products that if you click on, they make money as an affiliate link. And that's what they're putting out today as journalistic content, along with all this other AI-generated garbage. Louis Rossmann is the first person to use this word, and I think it applies perfectly when a large company buys something with the idea of monetizing the hell out of it and making as much money as possible, and in doing so makes the product worse or the service worse, and it's called Enshittification. And Firecrown is the category king of Enshittification. I have some excerpts written by people who have been involved in the production of these outlets for decades in some cases, and they are writing to explain what's going on. On August 3rd, Russ Niles posted this. As some of you may already know, I was fired by Firecrown Media as editor-in-chief of AvWeb on July 31st, ending a 21-year career with what I and many of you consider to be one of the most topical, influential, and informational aviation news sources anywhere, and he's absolutely correct in that. We had just come off an enormously successful air venture coverage. AvWeb was among Firecrown's most financially successful titles, and all indicators were pointed in the right direction. You could have knocked me over with a feather. I was told that my modest stipend for ensuring the beast was fed day in and day out was too much for the company's budget, and I was done effective immediately. I was among 3 senior people let go on Thursday and Friday of last week. Except some developments over the past few months have given me cause for concern about AvWeb's continued role in the industry it has so passionately and vigorously covered, criticized, and celebrated over the last 30 years. With these new developments, the process of creating the daily flow of news, videos, opinion, and features has been disrupted and may be for some time. I believe this morning's edition of AvWeb Flash, the first since my departure, illustrates my point perfectly. By all means, have a look for yourself. It goes on from there. And I actually noticed this. I read AvWeb that day. I'm like, what the hell is this? The writing is terrible. What they're covering is nonsense. I realized something had definitely changed at AvWeb, and when I read this from Russ, I knew exactly what was going on. He goes on and talks about the use of AI. There are quite a few discussions going online about Firecrown and their use of AI to generate these articles, and their absolute lack of denial of doing so. Here's another one from Joe Koepnick. I have been a member of the Kitplanes magazine editorial staff and a contributor for about 15 years, but the growing lack of respect showing from the contributors, production staff, and the readers by the current magazine owners have forced me to notify them that I can no longer be associated with a publication. It is a sad day for me, and sadder still for the team of expert contributors and readers that have made Kitplanes an incredible resource for home builders, owners, and pilots of experimental aircraft for 41 years. Firecrown, the company that purchased nearly every popular general aviation magazine in the past 2 years, has decided to cut the budgets for obtaining text and illustrations by over 50%, so they're not paying to get any content anymore, because they're just generating it with AI. Fired staff members essential to production of a quality magazine leaned into content generation using AI and has never acknowledged the contribution of the many experts who make the technical content of the magazines and the website valuable to the readers. Not once in the 2 years since his purchase has the owner reached out to communicate with the people who generate the content of his publications. While Firecrown's lack of a proper payment structure has been annoying, the lack of respect shown the team is inexcusable and the reason that the entire editorial team has now left the publication. And next, Omar Filipovic. Dear colleagues and fellow aviation professionals, I am writing to let you know that as of this morning, there is no one left at Kitplanes magazine. Today, Firecrown Media, the owner of the magazine, severed their relationship with me. A few days ago, Paul Dye and Tom Wilson left the team. Mark Cook departed in May. For the past 17 years, I've been the web editor and recently the executive editor at Kitplanes magazine and have met many of you in person or via email or phone. You've supported the magazine through your advertising, subscriptions, and even by submitting content for publication, and I thank you. Firecrown purchased Kitplanes along with Aviation Consumer, Aviation Safety, IFR Magazine, and AvWeb from Belvoir Media 2 years ago. Earlier this year, the company shut down Aviation Safety and IFR Magazine, and this month, Aviation Consumer. Russ Niles was fired and Larry Angislano left Firecrown. Kitplanes is now entirely without staff. It's disappointing, but I'm proud to have been part of the team that generated so much fantastic and relevant content that no other publication in the world could rival. So what's happening now? Well, Russ Niles is not laying down and dying. He very quickly set up a new website called avbrief.org, link down below and up here. It is a free newsletter, much in the spirit of AvWeb, and I think if you go over there, you will find some very familiar names now writing for AvWeb, already have advertising on the site, so they have the support of the vendors, and in the first 2 days with no advertising, had over 2,000 people sign up for the free newsletter. I would highly suggest that you go over to avbrief.org, sign up for their free newsletter. If you want to do what I have done, I've already canceled my flying newsletters, and I probably think AvWeb is next, because the content that's being produced by them is just garbage. It's not being written by people, and it's become very clear that the only reason those newsletters are still being produced is to generate ad revenue and extract money from your pocket. Tell Firecrown where to go. Go join avbrief.org. Don't give in to the Enshittification of aviation journalism.